Today we're going to discuss the pronunciation of endings, word endings, and how when we change the endings, the pronunciation changes, sometimes dramatically, and on occasion the meaning of the word changes quite dramatically as well. So we're going to begin this by focusing on the ends of words. Now, I would like to suggest that you repeat after me words that I pronounce or sentences and phrases, because we're going to practice fluency today as well. And so I'm going to read sentences, but we will always keep in mind that we want to focus on the ends of the words. So let's begin, get right into it. Before I do, the sources I'm using are from Hancock, and a source I've used a few of the past participles from that web address. All right. Now, just to show you what we're going to do today in terms of the ends of words, putting consonants at the ends of words. Now, consonants are all those letters that aren't vowels. So let's talk about the vowels. They're A, E, I, O, U, and Y's at times. So these are vowels, and I'm going to focus on the consonants. So the L in goal and the LD in gold. So watch this. Go, goal, gold. So the reason we're doing this is you notice that when we have one consonant, obviously the word changes, but when we have two consonants, LD, the L is pronounced differently because it's influenced by the D. So we have goal, gold. So the L is ghosted, a little bit softer in the second one. So we're going to practice these endings. So let's isolate individual words at the beginning. So we have, what we're going to do is we're going to go on the right side, then the left side. So here we go. Bell, belt. Bell, belt. Chain, change. Chain, change. So we're starting on the right side and going to the left. So one consonant, then two consonants. Rain, range. Rain, range. By the way, range is like an area. We have a shooting range. We have a range of courses you can choose from. So it can be used in a variety of contexts. Range. We have hell, help. Hell, help. Fill, film. Fill, film. All right, let's move on. Next we have 10, tenth. 10, tenth. Learn, learnt. Learn, learnt. Wool, wolf. Wool, woof. One more time. Wool, woof. Wolf. Sorry, wolf, not woof. Wolf. So one more time. Wool, wolf. And whole, hold. Whole, hold. All right. A hold is a small opening, and hold, you hold on to something. All right. Next, we are going to look at words that change into past participles. We've looked at this, but these are always interesting because they're a little bit tricky to know the ending. So let's start with the T sound. Work, worked. Work, worked. cook, cooked. Cook, cooked. Walk, walked. Walk, walked. Kiss, kissed. Kiss, kissed. Like, liked. Like, liked. Stop, stopped. Stop, stopped. Look, looked. Look, looked. Drop, dropped. Drop, dropped. Now let's move to the, we have the D sound. Let's try that now. Play, played. Play, played. Close, closed. Close, closed. Open, opened. Open, opened. Love, loved. Love, loved. Rain, rained. Rain, rained. Learn, learned. Learn, learned. Clean, cleaned. Clean, cleaned. Very good. Now we're going to do the last of these past participles. It's the ID sound, id. Wait, waited. Wait, waited. Want, wanted. Want, wanted. Need, needed. Need, needed. Decide, decided. Decide, decided. Hate, hated. Hate, hated. Taste, tasted. Taste, tasted. End, ended. End, ended. Now for fluency practice. I'm going to read one line at a time and you will repeat it. Actually, one sentence at a time. So I will repeat each sentence twice. Okay, first question. Okay, first question. Now, what are we looking at here for? We want to think about fluency and the ends of words and the beginnings of the next words. So how do they form when we're speaking or saying sentences? So listen to how it flows, the coherence of the sentence. What's the 8th month of the year? Listen again. What's the 8th month of the year? And again, what's the 8th month of the year? When you play this again, the TH is barely visible. It's August. It's August. You can see the S connects to the A in August. It's August. Correct. Second question. Correct. Second question. What's the highest mountain on earth? What's the highest mountain on earth? Listen to how the words connect. What's the highest mountain on earth? Mount Everest. Mount Everest. Listen again how they connect. Mount Everest. Correct again. Correct again. Mount Everest. Mount Everest. Next question. Which city is furthest east in Europe? Athens, Brussels, or Budapest? Let's practice it again. Which city is furthest east in Europe? Athens, Brussels, or Budapest? One more time, that core sentence can be problematic for fluency. Which city is furthest east in Europe? One more time. Which city is furthest east in Europe? All right, let's continue our fluency practice. We'll finish this. All right. Here we have questions. So here we practice. Is it Budapest or perhaps Brussels? Is it Budapest or perhaps Brussels? Next, no, it isn't. Listen, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's Athens. It's Athens. Okay, last question. You don't really hear the T. Okay, last question. The T disappears in last. Listen again. Okay, last question. You don't hear it very, very clearly. What's the biggest land animal in the world? What's the biggest land animal in the world? The elephant. The elephant. All right, let's do the whole, well, very good. So let's do the last sentence. 3 out of 4 correct. That's 75%. Three out of 4 correct. That's 75%. One more time for fluency. 3 out of 4 correct. That's 75%. All right, now we're going to have a little bit more fluency practice and listen for the ends of words and the beginnings of the new word when you have a vowel. So if the word ends in a consonant and the next word begins with a vowel, often we have a bridge. She doesn't earn much money. She doesn't earn much money. I think old cars are better. I think old cars are better. The bank ought to the bank ought to be open now. Listen to the underlined passage. They start to elide or sort of unite. The bank ought to open now. Sorry, I mispronounced, not thinking. The bank ought to be open now. One more time. The bank ought to be open now. And we have a small error, apologies. I think all the time. Should be I. I think all the time. Next, these big cars hold 8 people. These big cars hold 8 people. Do you hear the D and the 8? They are very close. These big cars hold 8 people. And finally, did he film other kinds of movies too? Did he film other kinds of movies too? All right, very good. We're going into the final stage before we get to homework. That's the homework, but we're not there yet. I hit that by mistake. You will have a small homework if you want to do it. But before we get there, let's do a few more sentences, and then I'm going to discuss a few of these. They took their cooker with them. They took their cooker with them. Now, a cooker is what you cook in, like a pan. The cook is the person. So let's read that. They took their cook with them. They took their cook with them. Second, she was a great help. She was a great help. Now, helper is the person. So in the first sentence, cook is the person and cooker is the pot. But now, helper is the person. So let's read that. She was a great helper. She was a great helper. Number 3, he did an exercise. Number 1, the first option. He did an exercise. I think more common is the second option. He didn't exercise. He didn't exercise. All right, both of these, they learn quickly. And the second option, they learnt quickly. All right, let's go to the final four before your homework and questions. I will take questions and questions on pronunciation or any questions you have. Number 5, is that your guest? With the T, is that your guest? Or number 1, is that your guess? Is that your guess? Number 6, option 1, they burn the food. Or option number 2, they burnt the food. It's more difficult because you have the T followed by the. They burnt the food. You actually can't hear it very clearly if you go quickly. Listen, they burnt the food. It's difficult to hear the T, but it's there. They burnt the food. And number 7, so 6 you'll have to practice, I think. It's difficult. Number 6, it's all in the past now, first option. It's all in the past now. It's all in the past. All right, let bygones be bygones. This is an old phrase that we used to use. Number 8, that mix wasn't very good. Or the second option, that mixer wasn't very good. So mix, the first option, that mix wasn't very good. It's like ingredients or recipe. So that food, whatever you mixed with the ingredients, it's not very tasty. The mixer can either be something you add to alcohol or a blender, like an electric blender. We call it a mixer or blender. So you have 2 options. In England, there's a mixer, which is a party. And it could be, that could be an option. If you're in the UK, you go to mixers. Mixers is when people mix together and communicate. And so that's a word that the English use for party. I'm at a mixer. At least that's how we used it at university where I was. All right. Now you have some homework. You can either look at the video. I'm going to put this on Instagram and YouTube. So we have 2 options. So you can, obviously on YouTube, you can control the video. But here is the homework if you want to take a screenshot or look at it on YouTube. I will put it up on my Instagram as well. It's a little bit tricky, but you remove the final consonant. So went, you take off the T, and you have the word when, but then you have to spell it correctly. So these are a little bit difficult. Spelling the words correctly after you take off the final vowel can be tricky. So I will upload this onto Instagram, but